Hey everybody, welcome to HIT.OR.DIE podcast with your host Jake Saldati and Chad Rothford. We're here with standout pitcher, Fresno State softball, and our first
live
female softball player, Hailey Dolcini. Thank you for joining the show.
Thanks for having me on.
A Fortuna High School grad.
It's way up there.
It's way up there.
I've been there.
Oh, okay.
I've actually, your Safeway. I've done some work up there at the Safeway.
Love to hear it.
It is a drive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my buddy lived in Eureka because Humboldt, right? It's
Yep.
up there.
Okay,
he went to Humboldt and he lived in Eureka. I'm like, yeah, that's the border. You're right there at the border.
Yeah.
Anyways, 4-time league MVP. Your bio is absolutely ridiculous. It's probably one of the most impressive player bios that we've come across and seen. There's actually way too much to say.
It was a whole page.
It was actually ridiculous, like how good Hailey is and was in high school. And reading it, even you hit in high school, you hit 620 and well over 400 in your career with 10 plus homers. And we were talking about it. And it's like, well, Garcia hits at UCLA. It's like, how come Hailey never got a chance to hit, which we'll get into. But you finished 85-15. Your senior year, you were 23-2 with a .38. That's a .38 ERA. Also hit 620 and was Max Prep Small School All-American. Started your college career at UC Riverside, then transferred to Fresno State for the 2019 season. Multiple times academic All-Mountain West and All-Academic All-American in 2021. In 2021 was NFCA All-Region Team, Softball America All-American, All-Mountain West First Team, and Mountain West Pitcher of the Year. Finished 2021 22-5 with a 1.12 ERA, 14 shutouts, and 2 perfect games. And I think you were in.
I had to cut it off because it's just. You need to go look at it.
Well, she was in the top
20.
She just missed the top 10, and I think it was an ERA. I want to say.
Probably.
I think it was
you were like
11.
11.
Yeah, it was.
She was like
there.
11th.
But you were top 20 in pretty much every pitching
top
category.
15 even.
Yeah.
In a lot of.
I think the
categories.
shutouts one was like number 1.
Yeah,
that was the big
it was
one.
ridiculous. And I was like 13 All-American. Like, come on. She's that. I mean, when you're in the top 15 plus you're number 1 in shutouts, come on, give a girl some credit,
So
right? So yeah,
High school though, being in a small town like that up there, are you worried about not getting seen? I know you obviously you had the numbers.
Yeah.
And I know you have to do, obviously travel ball and softball is a monster.
Yeah.
But
huge.
what was it going through that, trying to get seen and get to college softball?
I mean, I was way behind. So just recently they made the rule of you can't talk to athletes till September 1 of their junior year. When I was in 8th grade, every coach I met already had their pitcher for my graduating class of high school. And I was playing travel ball in Humboldt County until I was 13. And so we were going just Sacramento was as far as we were going. So no one's really, for travel ball, softball, everything's LA. Huntington Beach, LA, that's where every big tournament is, every coach. So I started playing on a Sacramento team then my 8th grade year, freshman year. And then from there was getting seen by coaches. They're like, we need you on a team in Modesto, Firecrackers team, bigger organization. So I went and played with them, and that's where I actually played with Kelsey Carrasco, Haley Fuller, who played here, a girl at Arkansas, Georgia. So it was stacked. And that's when I started getting my looks. And then it was Riverside, Sac State, Nebraska, and Cal. I think they could use some pitchers or whatever for my year. And so UC Riverside was my sophomore year of high school. I took a visit, and then that's when I committed because, I was way behind compared to everyone else. So I think coming from the small town, I was way up there and did not know what the travel ball world was until I was fully in it on that Modesto team.
That's crazy. So as a sophomore, you're behind. That's kind of ridiculous because we even talk about nowadays in baseball, these kids are committing as a freshman, sophomore, and we think that's early. When in softball, it's up until this year, It's been like that since junior high.
Oh yeah. Well, there was a coach that was recruiting. He would commit about 20 girls in 8th grade, and he would wait until their senior year, see who panned out, and then let them go. And so it was all these girls were committed to this one big Pac-12 school, and then all of a sudden senior year, we'll see who makes the cut, and then everyone else is kind of panicking.
So that's why we kind of go, why don't you just wait till it should be like that for every sport. I think they should be able to wait till their junior year to commit, and then obviously you sign your senior year in November. I think it is for the spring sports.
Yeah.
So I just think it makes it fair for everybody, because we talked about it too. When you're a freshman, or even you in high school, how different were you as a freshman, sophomore to your senior year?
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And if you wait long enough, and all these people wait long enough, you might be going to a Power 5.
Oh yeah. Well, and the burnout. I mean, like
That's what I was gonna say.
My junior year of high school, I was starting to hate softball because I mean, I'm missing all the high school events. I'm driving for pitching lessons in Modesto, so we're getting up at 4 a.m., driving 7 hours, pitching lesson, drive 7 hours back home. Then it's every weekend from, I mean, really right after Thanksgiving until the following January that you're going Huntington Beach, Colorado. Like, you're going the whole time. And so for us, it was me and my dad, 12-hour drive to LA, 12-hour drive back. So just the burnout. And it's like, how do these kids in 8th grade know they're still going to, A, love the sport, and B, love where they're going? Because, and I think that's why the transfer portal is huge too. It's because now it allows those kids that did commit when they were 8th grade and now they're here and they're like, oh God, now they can enter that freely.
That's a good point too. The transfer portal is
Ridiculous.
nuts now. On both sides, it's across the board.
I mean, there's pros and there's cons. Like, I think there's some people that take advantage of it and they hop around a little too much, but I think it's a good thing because, I mean, if you're truly unhappy where you are, get out. I mean, it's the best option for you.
And I think too, what would help is like just what we're talking about. If people waited till their junior and senior year, you really know who's ready to go D1. And, because a lot of these people are committed and signed, and then they go there, they're overwhelmed. I don't fit in here now. And it just opens up the transfer portal rather than, I don't know, is Juco softball even big? Because in baseball, it's big, and especially in the state of California. And I know Fresno City has a good softball team, and there are some good softball teams, but was that even an option? Like when you grow up, like junior college softball?
I mean, it's not as big as it is for baseball, because I know baseball is like huge for that. Like coaches will look through JUCOs before they look through, high schools and travel ball programs. But I think now to the point in softball, there'll be a few pickups from junior colleges. Like I know Mike White, who's at Texas now, he's picked up some really good pitchers from JUCOs. But other than that, you don't see a ton. And I think it's just because a lot of these college coaches develop these relationships with these travel ball organizations and these big time travel ball organizations that they just feed right in.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything. It's not going to stop. No, mm-hmm. Like it's even worse than softball from what I hear, like with 8th graders. And to me, it's the burnout though. That's the number one.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Well, in saying that, did you play another sport in high school?
I played basketball my freshman year, and then I ended up playing again my senior year just because I needed something different.
No volleyball?
No.
You got the height. You think you'd
not coordinated.
You'd think the arm too. You'd be spiking balls. And
junior high, I tried that out, and it's not for me.
Like I hear from people in the travel ball community for softball, like that is how you get recruited.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And baseball's becoming that slowly.
Yeah. Where the high school coach is almost not even relevant.
Yes. And it's like, but he told me like softball, that's pretty much how it happens.
Oh yeah. Like I don't think a coach ever looked at my high school stats. I think it's just simply off of what they see in
absolutely
travel ball.
Ridiculous.
Well, I think part of it too is because if you looked at my high school stats, they are what they are, and it's not like the talent here, high school softball wise, is insane. But for up in Humboldt County, where it's like, I think there's very few of us that have gone on and like played at any level after, let alone played travel ball competitively. So it's like just the talent level is a little bit different there.
Yeah,
that makes sense too. But how does the process, what did you do? Because if you've got Cal on your radar and you've got Nebraska, I mean,
some Power 5 schools.
What got you to UC Riverside?
I think I was bought into the idea that I could make an impact on a program. And that's what was like definitely sold to me was you can come here, you can make an immediate impact, and you have the chance to take a team and kind of help them, go forward. And I mean, I think we got 4th in the Big West my freshman year, and it was, pretty good year, one of the best years for them they'd had in a while. And so I think that I loved having that impact, and I'm someone who likes to work for what I get, and I'd rather not go somewhere like, let's say, a top 5 team and just be like, all right, we're already a top 5 team. I have no true impact versus you can leave a mark on a program.
You want to play.
Yeah.
And in the history, well, at Riverside originally, but well, then let's get in. You go to Riverside, you end up at Fresno State, which is known for pitching. Just the history of Fresno State softball is known for pitching. And, so what was that thought process leaving UC Riverside to come and be at Fresno State?
I think same thing, wanting to have an impact, wanting to be like one of those great pitchers. the history and the tradition here is astronomical. And like, I think the community feel I got to was huge because there is so much pride in our program. And I try and tell people this, and I don't think people truly grasp it, is like, we are a softball school. Like, we have the tradition, we have the fans, we have the community support. And that was huge for me in deciding to come here too. But then knowing the potential that I could have here with this team, with the resources we have here. And I think that was just super attractive.
Yeah. I think that gets lost too, is Fresno State being a softball school. But if you look at the tradition and everything, I mean, even with baseball, I think Fresno State gets lumped into that mid-major so much because we talked about it. If you took us and put us in the Pac-12, I think Fresno State would do pretty good in all sports in the Pac-12. We compete, we get great talent, great recruits, and we even think that would up it.
Yeah, it would elevate it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because then you have that conference that you can throw out there to kids that you're recruiting, and that's more attractive for them sometimes.
Well, and some are going to have that be like-minded, right? They're going to they're going to think like you think. I can go in and make an impact as a freshman, sophomore, instead of waiting my 2 or 3 years to get in and get work in. You know, because now, I mean, I hate to say it, but everybody's wanting to get paid. It's about being a professional. It's and that's where the mindset's become. You know?
Well, now with the NIL, that's another mindset too, which I think I had a problem with it because, as you know, I know softball and baseball, the scholarships aren't big. We don't get big scholarships, and so my issue with it was, I think, and it's nothing against football and basketball players, but let's get it right. You guys are all on full scholarships and get everything paid for, and you guys are the ones that complain the most about not getting stuff. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, they generate a lot of revenue.
I get that, but you're also getting everything for free as it is. You're not having school loans or getting a 25% scholarship. So your family is set. Your family doesn't have to worry about coming up with extra. Okay, so that's my point on that. And you don't have to agree or disagree because you're still playing, but this is the truth. We know. So when the NIL thing came out, or like even when they got rid of the NCAA, the baseball game and the football game, and it's like, why do these guys want extra when they're already getting everything for free? Like, you're at a Division I school. You could wear Fresno State gear every single day.
I'm going to ask you a question though.
Ask me a question.
Okay, so you had this. Did you see the quarterback, this high school quarterback from Texas?
No.
From Carroll, Texas. It was number one.
He was the number one quarterback in the country coming out. Okay, he was supposed to be a
senior this year. Left school to go to Ohio State.
Just to start making money on
for NIL opportunities. This kid has not played a down in college.
And he won't play a down this year.
He's already pushing. I think he signed a contract for almost $1.5 million.
That's crazy.
Now, would you do the same thing if you knew you were going to make $1 million? So, right? Because I was thinking, man, that's kind of. I'm not joking you.
I'm the number one quarterback in the country. Okay. Or let's put it this way: I'm the number one softball pitcher in the country in high school. We'll put it in Hailey's terms. That is gonna be an option for me. But if I go out, why wouldn't it be there after my senior year?
What if he breaks his leg in high school his senior year?
But what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't and he goes off and he wins a state championship?
He's still going to be at Ohio State, and he's still going to sit.
But he can go to Ohio State right now and get hurt in practice and have career-ending injury.
Yeah, but the money, the dotted line has been inked. It's signed. He's already making money.
Is it guaranteed?
I don't know. I didn't read that much into it. I just saw he's making money.
Saw a headline.
I mean, it's a lot of money. Like,
I mean, that's a good point. But
there's no scholarship that's going to bring you that kind of money. Like, I'm going to work a lot of years, and I probably won't make $1.5 million.
But what I see wrong with that is it's becoming a me thing now. Like, I don't like.
I don't disagree.
I don't like that. Like, you had a chance to win a state championship in Texas, which is the biggest state of football in the country.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but
that's why I don't like NIL. That was my point. Is why I don't like the NIL thing. Is because it's only gonna. I mean, I know you're doing some stuff with it, but the big name players are making too much. It's too much. There's no reason why the Alabama quarterback should already be making like $5 million, and he didn't even play it down either yet.
He played last week, I think.
Well, I mean, but
he hadn't played. He's
already making that much
you're
money.
Right.
Like,
listen, I don't mind it. I didn't like the idea of leaving as a 17, almost 18-year-old high school kid, but I mean, if you know that. That's a lot of money.
I think there's huge pros and cons to it because, like, then you have the BYU football team who all walk-ons were put on scholarship by some business there. So it's like now you have all those walk-on guys and it's that. But then again, you're going to have issues with recruiting because if you have a football quarterback that you're trying to recruit at Fresno State and Tennessee's looking at them and they were truly thinking about Fresno State for more playing time, and a car dealership at Tennessee comes up and says, if you come here, we'll give you a free car and we'll sign you $200,000 bonus when you post it. It's like, well, you just lost out on recruiting.
Well, and I think that's what happened. That kid pulled into town in Ohio State. It was one of the first things that happened. They get a brand new truck that's decked out on top of the cash. Like, yeah.
Well, there's so much gray area with it right now because it's brand new. So it's like, I think there's going to be a lot of athletes out there getting caught up for tax evasion and whatnot too, because you have to report all of it. I mean, it's an income now. Yep. So people that aren't going about it the right way, going through, the right people, compliance and all that, there are going to be people caught up.
Do you have a rep helping you out with this stuff?
We go through compliance at our school.
Okay.
So it's like any offer I get, I send through them and I'm like, here, check it out. And for me, I'm not in it for the money. Like if it's a cool deal that comes up and it's like, here, like the liquid IV thing. It's like, here, post this and we'll send you free liquid IV. I drink that stuff every day. So I'm like, sure.
Why not?
If I don't have to pay for it, great.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, I'm not outwardly like looking for stuff because it's like, I also have a lot of other stuff to focus on. And I think that's where a lot of this is going to impact sports as well, as you're going to have those kids that are more worried about the money-making opportunities than grinding it out in the weight room with their teammates and getting championship plays and whatnot. And I think you'll see sports honestly get a little less competitive.
I would agree with that.
I would too.
Because I think it's even going to make it worse I know we're in football season right now, but with the people that sit out their bowl games, like now, like,
oh yeah,
because the draft, like that, it pisses me off so much. You play the whole season and you get to go to a bowl, which your school's making money on going to a bowl game as it is, and then your star players don't play. Like that just frustrates the hell out of me. But now it's going to be even worse because they're like, well, if I get injured in this game, then I can't make this on my NIL or on the draft signing bonus and all. It's just so I think it's going to go to sports now too. Even sports are
Are you hearing that? Like, are you hearing division within teams?
I mean, I would assume so. If you've got, let's say your quarterback's making $2 million and he's pocketing it, not treating his linemen or any of that stuff.
He's making more than the coach.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem too. I saw an article about that. Is like, what are these coaches going to do when these players are making more than them?
It's going to happen.
Like, I think,
like I said, you got a kid.
I don't have to listen to you. I make more money than you.
You got a kid that's...
Well, you're late to Math 101 at fucking 7 a.m. in the morning, all right?
It's true, though. It is. It's going to get... There's going to be some litigating going on, and each state's going to have to figure out how they want to do this, because just hearing you talk about it, like, it could get severely out of hand.
Yeah.
And I see it happening. Because, again, like I said, you got an example in that quarterback. That kid has not... He'll never need a job. He doesn't even have to make it professionally.
No.
Have a decent 3 or 4 years. I mean, you could bank a lot of that money. Get your degree. Because he's still on scholarship.
Full scholarship,
and
by the way.
making $1 million.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know if that was over a period of like 3 years or not. I'm not sure. But I just know that the sum of it was about 1.5.
Well, if that's his first year there, it's not the last deal.
No. They're going to be... Once he starts playing...
If he lives up to the hype, though, too. And
the thing is, some of these kids don't even have to be good.
That's true.
They can have 1 million TikTok followers because they can dance and not be worth anything on the football field, and they're going to get NIL deals because they can promote a brand.
Yeah, so then that's even better because now it's like, I don't have to go to practice early to get extra work because I got to make TikToks. And let's be honest, I'm not going to say I've tried to make a TikTok or not, but... It's not like you could just video it in one take.
Do we have a TikTok?
We
did, didn't we?
We did, and then
have we ever done anything on TikTok?
I used to just post some of our episodes.
Oh, okay.
But
do you have a TikTok?
I do. I don't make them.
No?
No.
But making them, it's not just one take. I mean, you guys at Fresno State have 2 of the biggest TikTokers in Hailey and Hannah.
Yeah.
And I guarantee they don't get one.
But
take.
It also seems like they work at their craft. Like they don't.
They're ballers.
Yeah, they're.
Oh yeah.
They're doing both really well.
They just got big. Well, COVID. They just started doing it, and that's how it got big. But
when they've been building their brand since high school.
Yeah.
I mean, they just dropped a merch line today.
I did see that.
Go get
it. But they've actually kind of laid off a little bit because now they're in season.
Yeah.
They're practicing more, so they're not like posting every day and stuff.
No, they're smart. They're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Plus, they probably have good representation.
When I read their dad's tweet that they're not touching a penny of what they're seeing for NIL, it's all getting invested. So it's like if you don't have a parent like that too, that's like on you about that, and you're one of these basketball players or something that's getting $1 million for a video game contract and you're blowing it on a stupid car or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
it's money gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
That even makes more sense. because now it's like, look how much money you're going to have after college that you still be able to spend.
Well, yeah,
but now
especially if you're on a
blowing it.
scholarship. Like,
And you don't have to work.
yeah, like go invest all your, like if you're going to get some money on the side or an off season, cool, go make it, put it away, go get your degree, go play your sport, have fun. If
Still
you can play
enjoy being a
professionally, go
college
play.
athlete.
That money will be there when you're done.
Yeah.
You know, use it to your advantage.
Some of the
there
best
is
times-
definitely a smart way to do it. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But some of the best times are literally having to fend for yourself in college. Like I'm not even
It's the
joking.
2 a.m. Jack
It's
in the Box, getting some
it's like,
tacos.
now I got $1 million. I'll go to Roost Chris for lunch when we're
Yeah.
like, let's go eat the shitty cafeteria food.
Yeah, let's
Like,
go.
That's just part of college. Like,
Would you agree with that though? Like that's part of the fun. Like
Oh, yeah.
Is the
You know?
grind and like the memories you make. Like, oh man, we were just in the cafeteria. The food's terrible, but it's
Yeah.
like that's just part of it, you know. And I don't know. I just feel like that a lot of the college atmosphere that you want to love is going to be gone too, because now everybody's going to be making money and, you know, hey, I got to go to Chick-fil-A
but
and
see,
take a picture there.
There is
Yeah.
a difference, right? When we played, and when you were in college, right? There weren't smartphones. Like you didn't have,
and thank God,
like you didn't have a
Honestly,
lot
yeah.
of the luxuries that you have now. So
True. True.
When people say old school, like in that sense, yeah, it's old school thought process because
Yeah.
there was a lot of things you didn't have.
No.
Where kids have a lot of access to everything now.
No, yeah, we didn't have the apps and stuff on phones yet when I was in college.
We need to get you some more NIL stuff.
Yeah.
Anybody out there? Let's.
Hey, Race Sports. I know
Yeah.
they just
signed
signed
Aon.
Aon to NIL deal. So
Yeah,
hey,
you need
get Hailey
you need
on there.
One of the best pitchers in the country.
Yeah.
It's a real easy decision to make. So you get to Fresno State though. What? So were you coming in thinking I'm gonna be a starter? Am I gonna work my way into the rotation?
No, I mean, my whole life it's been work ethic. And like that's one thing, and it's like hard to see with these younger kids I work with. Like you cannot teach that. So just having the work ethic instilled in me at a young age, and I just knew when I came, it's like, hey, you better earn your spot. Like nothing is guaranteed, especially with pitching. It's like who's performing, who's not performing. You know, who's the number one at the time, and what are you going to do to beat them out? And so that was me, and just grinded. And then my first year was kind of a little bit of a shaky start in the Mountain West Conference. We went to Colorado our first weekend. I didn't get a start. I came in relief. Didn't do well. And then after that was like, okay, nose to the grindstone, get back to work, and then had a somewhat of a better season to end it. And then just every off season, okay, like, how can we get better than last year? How can you keep your number one spot? Like, what are you going to do to separate yourself from the rest of the pitchers and the staff to where obviously you still work together, but how am I going to separate them so I'm still the number one? So I think it was just all work ethic for me.
It's the way it should be, though.
Yeah.
And that's the right attitude to have in any program because nothing's going to be handed to you. You're going to have to earn whatever position or whatever or even whatever job you go into,
Yeah.
whatever field you get into. That's just the mindset to have. You're not going to get something for nothing. And I think that's some of that attitude you see today where a kid's, especially in high school when you're, it's at a small school and you've been to small school, you'll have a better kid on your team, not have to put in as much work because he knows he's going to play.
Yeah.
And how do you, if you're trying to win games, you got to play them. So it kind of sucks to see that, and you do your best to push and make sure they know that if their goal is to play or continue to play on, that's not going to work. Like, why change the attitude now?
Yeah. And having someone to hold you accountable too. I mean, like my dad has been my coach since I was 8, and first year I wanted to pitch, he's like, hey, you have to practice for a whole year before you're playing in a game. So it's like driveway every day for a year at 8 years old. And then finally got the chance to play, and I was good because I had practiced for a year. So I loved it, the success and everything, and, related that to the work that was put in that year. So then after that, it was like through high school, he was our assistant coach, and he's like, okay, remember, like, you better step it up. Or if I had a game where, let's say I only had 10 strikeouts, it's like, okay, that's not a great job for you in this like competition we're facing. So it's like, okay, step it up. Just always holding me accountable, and I think that was huge.
And getting better.
Yeah.
Right. Always outdo and keep pushing forward and getting better. That's great. I mean, you don't see that a lot. You see some guys, like you talk about how the game, and as far as baseball is concerned, like it's, strikeout is not so frowned upon anymore.
Yeah.
That's not to me. That's just not the attitude or the approach to take. Put a ball in play, find a way. You just don't see those adjustments. But you talked about having somebody to hold you accountable. 2020 comes, COVID hits, and
But you were on fire.
Yeah.
Before COVID hit, I think you were 13-1 already.
yeah, I think it was one.
It was ridiculous.
What was the mindset, and like, was it?
Well, obviously you saw the grind from that
Yeah,
first year there to now
to the results,
2020.
and when you feel that momentum for it to just die, and then was it easy to stay motivated after that, or
Yeah.
did you have to have somebody back there pushing you a little bit?
I think it was hard because we didn't know anything. So it was like, are these seniors going to get to come back? Because they were a huge part of our success. And so it's like, do they get the chance to come back? You know, we had just beat Texas like the weekend before. And it was like, for us, that was a huge momentum shift of like, okay, we can play with literally anyone. Yeah. Like they beat UCLA the night before. And it was like, okay, why not? Like we had the mentality of why not us? What's next? And then it was like going into Boise for the first weekend of conference. We were hoping to just, you know, roll through conference and win Mountain West. And then it's like, okay, everybody go home and don't come back. But no, I ended up having surgery in that off season. So I had surgery that April. So it was like we got canceled in March, had surgery in April, started throwing again in July, and then came back down here. And that's when I started training at Bullitt. And then my catchers, I'm thankful both of them are from this area. So they caught all my bullpens, started going to pitching coach down here, and just was like, there were some days it was hard to trust the process because it's like, we didn't get a fall last year either. So it's like, okay, when do we get to come back? When we come back, are we going to get to play? So then getting to come back and then, you know, first weekend against UCLA and LMU, I think we didn't win a game. And it was like, holy crap, like what happened? And then we had to, you know, take an internal look and get back to work. And then I think the next weekend is when it was like perfect game against Sac State. And then we started rolling. And so from there, it was like, okay, it was worth it.
Rolling is putting it lightly. Last year, you guys went off. Didn't you rattle off like, I want to say it was like 13 or it was more than that in a row. It was double digits. It was a lot.
Oh.
You guys.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
But that's good. I mean, when you're going, it's like,
it's just,
who's next?
It's like second nature.
Right, who's next? But having said that, 2021 brought a lot of, I want to say, what's the right word? Adversity.
Change. Adversity is great. Yeah, that's a great word.
Within the staff and, you know, public not knowing things and coming back from COVID, you know, just how was 2021? Like mentally, to do what
showed what they're made of.
Yeah, to do what you guys did, to have to deal, because there was other things that we talked prior to recording that you guys had to deal with. Yeah, just talk about how tough your team was. Mentally, I mean, just the mental toughness to get through that and to get to where you got into the regionals.
I mean, we had big goals from what we left off of, and every single one of those seniors but one came back. And so, you know, as those of us that weren't graduating last year, we're like, we owe it to them for coming back, putting their life on hold one more year to grind it out. And then, you know, it was one thing after another. It's COVID, it's this, we're having issues with this. So finally, me and the other two captains were like, okay, we got to figure it out. Like internal team meeting, we're going to play for each other and each other only. No outside noise is getting in the way of this run that we want for this championship. And I mean, we wanted it bad because we had gotten the taste of that success 2020 and then just yanked away from us. So I think we had that fire there too, where it was like, no, we had the taste of it. We want that. We want to make a run. And so after that first weekend too of it being rough, like I said, we had another meeting and we're like, okay, not what we talked about, but how can we get better from here? And we started holding like, you know, captain's practices. We do everybody get in the cage an extra 30 minutes today. Pitchers, run some polls, do something. What can you do to make yourself better for this team? And then just like scouting reports, it was like, it got to a point where I was like, okay guys, I will look at the other pitchers for you, see what I see, sit down and look at the hitters, kind of their film from the weekend before. And we truly bought into the whole process. And I think that was huge.
You know, and then, you know, you have, Coach Garza step down or take some leave of absence, and Coach Cox come in and kind of step up. And just how big was her role on you guys getting to the end?
Oh, Coach Cox is amazing. You know, she did everything in her power to hold this team together and to keep us going in the direction we were. You know, she stayed positive for us. She didn't sugarcoat anything. And that's like the big part is you can't sugarcoat stuff when you're going through as much as we went through as a team. Because, I mean, truly the past 2 years, there are some things I never imagined we would go through. But I think it brought us closer, too. But Coach Cox and, I mean, even Coach Lewis and the GAs, our athletic trainer, like, they kind of stepped up as, like, one whole staff, and we're like, let's do it. Like, this isn't going to get in the way of where you guys are at, because we were still in first place, and it's like we're going into, I think, Colorado State, and it's like one mind focus. This is outside noise. We're not letting that in. So I think that was big for us, is they had us bought into their whole process as well.
Yeah, you kept your eyes on the goals too. I mean, because it came down really to like the last couple of weeks too, right? UNLV was right there with you guys, and then you go win that series.
No, we lost that series. Yeah.
Was it San Diego State was the other team?
That was the last weekend, and that series, like, we had already clinched it the weekend prior against Boise.
It was Boise. That's who it was.
Because Nevada ended up sweeping UNLV, ensuring that we had clinched first place.
I want to go back real quick. You were talking about video and preparation, and how much of that do you do on the team coming up? Because it's not like baseball where, hey, you got the ball Friday night only. You pretty much have the ball Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like you know what I mean? So,
and you do have some depth. I mean, Danielle Lung's on the
but I mean, in softball, you got your one, and then you got, if something bad happens. And we had
Dari last year. Dari was our number 2 last year, and she was huge.
So I mean, but for the most part, like, in being realistic, you're getting the ball every game. How much preparation is that goes into, because you're not preparing just for one game, you're preparing for maybe 2 different lineups they play or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends. Like, if it was a tournament weekend and there's 4 teams are playing, then it's like I'll sit down and do 4 different film reviews, and I'll look at 3 of those. So let's say you've got one player, I'll go watch 3 of her at bats, see what I see in her swing, see what I see in her stance, how she do inside, how she do all that, and I'll break all that down myself. And then Coach Cox would do her own scouting report as well, and then we'd come together and like, hey, what did you see that maybe I didn't see? What did I see you didn't see? So I'd go through scouting reports of every single team, and then the day before we'd play whoever we were playing. So if we're playing Boise, that day before game day, I'll go through their lineup, and I will already have written out kind of the series of pitches I'd like to throw to that batter and what I think would work. And Coach Cox just trusted me 100% of the time, and then we just made a really great team, so I think that helped too.
Is that something you do on your own, writing it out?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so Coach Cox made me like these little sheets that I can write who it is, righty, lefty. I have a little section for notes of hitches I see in their swing, what they do with their feet when the pitch, pre-pitch, any of that stuff, and then I'll write down my personal pitch sequence that I would like to throw to them. And then, I mean, obviously in a game it changes. Like if they felt something off and looks like got a good piece on it, you're gonna change it up a little bit, or even
how you're feeling that day. It could change.
Yeah,
your main pitch isn't on, I gotta change it up.
Exactly. And so I think we just made really good in-game adjustments too to the scouting reports. So I mean, it's fun for me. I'm kind of like a nerd in that aspect of like I like that part of the game the most.
But you have to be.
Yeah, you really do.
You have to be. Especially what you just said. It reminded me of Matt Garza's episode with 10-year big leaguer pitcher, and the way he took notes was almost exactly kind of like what you said. And you almost have to do that to get the advantage, to get the edge, because you don't know how you're going to be that day. You don't know how they're going to be that day either. You could watch video and they could be a totally different hitter. That's the way baseball and softball is. It's just game by game. But if you're prepared for it and being able to adjust, I think that helps.
Yeah, because I think that's one thing the analytics side doesn't take into account feel. Mm-hmm. You don't get to see that. It may be able to say, oh, they did this on this pitch and this count. You can get some percentages, but feel's a big thing too, like you said. So I think the note thing's great, and I think anybody at any sport, baseball, I think
any level,
that's a great.
I know in high school it's hard to get video of people, but that's why a lot of coaches
you could go home and take notes of the game, or take get a copy of coach's scorecard and listen. This is because we take pitches and counts and get it.
Well, for me it was big too, to where like Coach Cox could hand me her sheet and it's like, okay, I don't know anything. Like I can read exactly what she's saying, and so she started sharing the actual film with me. And then you can go on the Mountain West archives, any of those conferences that you can see. Like when we played Minnesota, I just went to Big Ten, bought a subscription, and you can see any of their games you want to see. And so it's like you can pause, you can slow-mo, see anything in their swing. So for me, I like to visualize, like especially the night before, seeing their actual swing and who they are before they actually are in the box. And you're like, ooh, I read that they can't hit a screwball, but I have not seen their swing. So I think that's difference too.
Paying for a subscription.
Yeah, I don't get that, because we talked to Batesall.
Either way.
But baseball, they have, for every school in the country, they have a portal thing you could go to and just watch any game.
Well, the problem with the Minnesota last year, they only played a Big Ten conference. So they didn't play any preseason where, like, if we play Sac State in the preseason at their place, more than likely you can find it on the
Sac State.
WAC or whatever conference there, and we'll have that filmed.
Interesting. You know, there's a couple things. Well, let's stay with this 2021 because you guys rattled off, you make a super regional, and you face Minnesota round one, pick up a win there. Kind of just talk about the experience and getting there and how prepared you guys were. Because I think you had just a week off before it started, something like that, or a couple days. I don't remember.
Yeah, we were trying to get Coach
That's
Cox
when we were
on.
trying to get Coach Cox on.
Yeah, we had, because it was like that Sunday was Selection Sunday. We had just gotten back from San Diego the day before, and then it was like we took off on Thursday or Wednesday, I think, for UCLA, and then we had to quarantine 24 hours and then go from there.
Fun.
It was a blast.
But so how was that experience getting there and take us through those 3 games you guys had?
I mean, I think for us, regionals was like, us and Long Beach were the teams that were supposed to be 2 and queued. So we were like, that same mentality of why not? We faced UCLA. They have no respect for us because we lost like 7-0, had a terrible performance our first game against them. So we were like, we literally have nothing to lose. So the Minnesota game 1, I think, like, for me, talking to one of the other girls, I was like less nervous and more of like, wow, like how full circle has my career come to where I used to watch this on TV and now I get to be that pitcher little girls get to look up to. So I think that was the coolest thing for us, was to be like, we have this great opportunity right now. Like, let's take full advantage and enjoy every moment, every pitch. So just truly taking advantage of it. That was one of the most fun games I've ever played in. Definitely wish they would have let people watch the games in person, because that would have been fun to have that full experience that you watch, like Oklahoma State's packed out, sold out. And it's like, that would have been cool too. But I think overall regionals is definitely one of the best experiences I've had.
And then you guys come down to the wire with UCLA. I don't know, you guys had the lead, right, going in?
1-0 going into the bottom of the 7th, yeah.
And then you guys come back in the 8th, make a little rally.
Yep. And then I was like, I was pushing. I was pushing because it was so hard, because it's like, okay, you're going. And it's like, okay, they have scored no runs going into the 7th. And it's like, okay, they've seen me, and I just pitched a full game the day before, and I'm like, okay, just keep going. And then when we bounced back and scored 3 more runs, I'm like, okay, you have one job. Like, just do not let them score 4. And then it was like, okay, ball's moving less. They're starting to catch up to you. They know what you're throwing. It was their 4th at-bats around. So at some point, you just got to kind of tip your cap to where it's like, okay, 4th time around, yeah, they're going to catch up. Dari came in, tried to hold it down, but yeah, they ended up just getting that one more. So, I mean, it was a crappy loss, but I think we were very happy with the outcome still, because it was like a great showing for the program.
Number 2
great
team in the
showing for
country.
ourselves. And like, nobody had put up more than 3 runs on Rachel Garcia in 2 years. So it's like we did something no one else in the country had done against one of the best pitchers our game's ever seen. So we had so many little wins come out of that. And like, for me personally, like, starting off not making it out of an inning, starting off the year infinity, like leaving that game. I mean, that's like a worst nightmare. Like, I couldn't sleep that night. No, and then coming back and going extras with them on national television, I think it was a great experience.
And to not be 2 and queued, right? To be the team to knock off Minnesota. And then, I mean, ultimately you guys followed in that next game. Were you guys just, did that UCLA take it out of you a little bit, or were you guys? Oh,
yeah. Mentally, I mean, like, I was mentally gone. I mean, physically, my arm, I couldn't feel it. Hand was swollen, but like mentally, like, took it all out, because I mean, each pitch you're facing the best hitters in the country. So it's like, you make one little mistake, that ball's gone. It's leaving the park. That, and I think the format of the tournament sucks. I mean, you're playing now 2 games in that day. So now you can't have, if you want your number 1 pitcher to throw again, you can't. They just threw the night before, didn't even get 24 hours rest. You're pitching against the number 1 team in the nation, 8 innings. Okay, now sit around for 5 hours and you guys are going to play tonight. And then it's like, oh, you lost, you're gone. And then the next team just plays the next day, and it's like they got the full day's rest because, like, yeah, winners, you should. But I think the format of the tournament just needs a lot of work.
What would you suggest?
And I'm opposite of that.
Why?
Well, because I'm a firm believer in, I can't stand this, and I'm not trying to be,
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand that softball has one pitcher pitch every game. Like, I feel like, because I wish if baseball could do it, who wouldn't want their number 1 going every game? And I love that you guys can do that and be able to do that physically. But like, then I think with that format, and I'm not trying to knock anything, it actually shows how in depth your team is.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and I understand you want the ball anyways, and you're like, well, I can't feel my damn arm, my hands.
Yeah, I don't think anybody when I hear people say that, I think the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, it's not stressful. Oh, it's not exhausting.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I just had surgery. It's exhausting.
I mean, like, there's
you're
no
throwing
way.
in a weekend, you're throwing like 300 to 400 pitches.
Yeah.
A weekend.
I think they need to extend regionals just one more day. Because Super Regionals format's perfect. It's one game a day, best 2 out of 3. And it's like, at least you're getting one full day rest before the next game versus regionals. It's like, okay, you're going to play the night game at 7 p.m., then you're going to play at 11 a.m., and then if you lose that game, you're going to play again at 5 p.m., and then if you win that game, you're going to play the next day at 2 p.m., so it's like...
See, but then look at this. you know me. Go
ahead.
But if you win the 2 games...
Oh, yeah, then you
pretty much
pretty.
sweep. You know what I mean? So it's like... And that's what made Fresno State in 08 so amazing with what they did in baseball, being...
Elimination game after like 5 or 6,
Yeah.
So that's where it's like, that's why I'm kind of like, it is what it is, because it's like that in baseball too. It's the same format you guys have. And I was fortunate enough, the only regional I was in, we swept it. So I didn't have to worry about coming back. But I always think like, that just shows, but I get it as being the pitcher and you're going to get the ball. I understand that too. So I'm not knocking it.
Oh yeah. No, that's why I'm glad they did what they did with the World Series, because that was crazy.
That's
the difference between that tournament and the baseball tournament. Granted, I know the whole like pitch count and everything, but it was insane that these girls were having to wait till midnight to start a game, and then they're playing at 8 a.m. the next day.
Yeah. What's the rush? I don't understand why it's. And then you look at the viewership. I think I saw somebody posted the viewership.
It was Lauren Burke, I think, posted.
Yeah.
She's like, sorry, not sorry. Like that
yeah, because there was like, I think more views than
there
the
was.
men's college
there
World
was.
Series.
Not just a little bit.
Yeah.
It was like by millions.
Yeah.
It was like a 1, I think. It was like 1 million more people.
That's still a lot.
Which I don't.
Which I watched when it comes down to it, I watch all the college softball and all the college baseball, whatever I can when it's on. I still think all the networks should play more college softball and college baseball. I mean, the amount of college basketball that we see, and nothing against college basketball, but I'm just not a basketball fan. So I want to see softball and baseball. And that's why I love, the SEC network. And I think the Mountain West needs to figure it out a little bit. I think even Fresno needs to figure it out. We need our own station by now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you're not seeing anything.
No, and that's why I love watching the regionals and super regionals, especially because, not saying the games don't mean something to get there, but they mean something.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you get to the playoffs.
You're seeing careers end if it doesn't go.
Yeah. And I mean, just the atmosphere is ridiculous. And I love, in Oklahoma City, just the atmosphere of softball there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've seen how much it's grown.
Yeah.
There was the picture they posted on Twitter announcing it. It was a shot of the stadium.
Mm-hmm. They had to add, I don't even know how many tens of thousands of seats too, and they filled them all up this year.
It was my dad would rather watch that than any baseball.
Well, that's how my dad was, because he grew up playing baseball, college baseball, and he's like diehard, does not want to watch a baseball game anymore because he's like, it's so slow compared to the pace of the game that you guys play at. Because, I mean, we'll play 7 innings in 2 hours, 2.5 sometimes, depending on speed of the game. And he's like, I sit at a baseball game for 2.5 hours. We're through the 4th inning.
Yeah, it could dull you to sleep a little bit, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, well, we have to run 30 more feet. We pitch from 20 more feet.
Oh, this guy. You know what else I was thinking too? And him and I were talking about this. The professional game.
Yeah.
There is professional softball, but it's non-existent.
Yeah, it's starting to grow, actually. It's called Athletes Unlimited.
Yes, I've seen it. Right.
So that started last year, and I think it's super cool. It's a draft every week, so the teams aren't the same. So it's not like your MLB where it's like one team. It's your top 4 players of the week, the way they have a point system. Top 4 players are getting the first picks for the week, and then they draft 4 teams, and they're new every week, and then your paid bonuses depending on, performance and points and all that. But I mean, they're mainly making money off deals, sponsorships and what kind of stuff that is, because there's not a huge following of it right now.
Which I don't understand, because softball, you go look at the viewership for college softball, and him and I were talking. He was right about, those institutions love their team.
Yes.
And so when you have 8 teams, you're going to get a large crowd to support all those teams. It's going to be easier to sell tickets.
Well, you have Fresno State fans that love Fresno State, just
Yeah.
Fresno State sports. They don't even have to love softball or volleyball or whatever, but they will go support that because they're Bulldog fans. But when they move on to professional sports, and it sucks that it just happens to be softball and the WNBA kind of gets hit with it too, they just don't get interested in a bunch of other players playing for a team.
Yeah, that's not their school.
But there's a market for it.
There is.
Because you had to televise the Olympics, but
Yeah.
not baseball. Well, why? There's got to be a market for it. I mean, and people watched it. That's what I'm saying. I watch it.
I watched it.
Anytime softball's on, I typically watch it. So I don't understand why. Hopefully this takes off.
yeah.
Is that something that you...
Is that a player ran thing? Like ex-player ran?
I'm not sure who started, but like Osterman's still in it.
Yeah.
And like the
And where are
players
they
or
based
coaches
out of?
too. That's a good question.
I don't know.
I
I
wanna
know
Because
say-
we were talking. He said they should do it like the MLB. You have a West league. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you did California, you know how many people would come out to California, and I
Yeah.
think you'd get better viewers.
I just
'Cause
thought
a lot
if
of the old professional, it was like in the Midwest, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I think it's in Chicago. I think that's where it is.
Is it? Okay.
Because
Yeah.
they had the NPF, which was the National Pro Fast Pitch League, that all disbanded after last year.
And that was like with the Prime, or was it Prime?
Pride.
Pride, yeah, they're the ones that got. I always didn't understand. It seemed like they had the first pick every year. It's like they're the best team every year. How do they get? They get the best player in college baseball every year. Like, how does that work? It made no sense to me. Their draft.
Are you... Yeah, I don't
think there's, I don't know if there's enough players that continue on after college for softball wise that they could make like a West, an East, like that kind of whole thing. I think right now with the 4 teams they have going on, you've got the best 80 girls there are maybe that are still continuing after college. Because I mean, a lot of players just move on or they'll play international for a little bit and then just kind of depends.
Plus, I mean, the money's not there to make.
No.
You know, you're playing professional softball. If the money was there, then you could.
Oh, yeah.
You would have people going, or you would probably be like, I'll go play. I'm going to get paid to play. Obviously, I want to do it.
It's pretty crazy to see, like, full circle how big travel softball is from 8U all the way up to 18 to how big college softball is, especially the College World Series, to then nothing professionally.
Yeah. And like you have the Olympic, but it's like, okay, potentially every 4 years. Like they already talked about taking it out of 2028.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
heard
like,
that.
In the Olympics, they have players from like 1990.
literally, the team was like 37 years old. I watched one game and I was like, you're telling me like nothing against those women. They're amazing. But you're telling me those are the best
Wasn't
players.
Bubba Nichols on it?
Yeah.
But she didn't even play.
No, her and
I'm
Rachel
like,
Garcia.
she's one of the best players in the country. Yeah, Rachel
Her
Garcia.
and Rachel Garcia barely played. 2 of the best players.
I thought the same thing.
The Team USA thing is like, it's a hot take, but it's pretty political. It's who
I
you
can
know.
see that.
It's you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Because, I mean, how do you not look at the College World Series that we just had? And you're like,
Well, I was going to say,
you can only take 2 of those girls from
Yeah.
that whole World Series to move on to Team USA. And, like, granted, I know international play is different, but
I mean, Monica
still.
Abbott's been around a while too. Like she was the ace. I don't know.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
she's been playing in Japan.
Her and Kat Osterman. Well, Japan's the way to go if you want to play professional softball. You can go make $1 million over there if you want to go play over there, but it's pretty hard to try and learn that language and live on your own in Japan if you're going to sacrifice all that to make a little money.
Yeah, I know Courtney played overseas for a little bit.
That's all they had though when Courtney was playing.
right. Is that something you would like to? You want to play professionally when this is all done? I mean, this is it for you, right?
This is the last year. I have an opportunity to go play in Italy after this. I'm not sure yet. Just kind of depends what I do after this. But no desire to do the Athletes Unlimited or anything like that.
Really?
Italy. So I'd say Dolcini is Italian or no?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. My wife's Italian. I should probably know that, right?
So's mine.
But so that you'd make probably good money because would they have you as a foreign player or would you be able to play as an Italian player?
Well, the
Because I
one
know
that-
internationally they're only allowed a certain amount, right?
Yeah, and I'd worked on my dual citizenship stuff a while ago because initially I was going to try and play for Team Italy.
Oh,
But
nice.
then like that coach had passed away, and then there was a lot of stuff that went on, and I was like, with COVID and everything, forget it.
That would have been cool though.
Yeah, but
4 more
Maybe
years.
next
Hey,
time.
4 more
Hey,
years.
yeah. 8 more
or
years.
Three.
I'll be 30 years old.
Are they
That's
taking
okay.
softballs out next one, right?
Yeah.
Softball and baseball are both out.
I think they said 2032.
Stupid.
Yeah, no. But the Italy one, as far as I'm aware, it's more of like we'll pay you like your flight, like kind of like a full ride.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pay for everything once you get here, and then you'll get like a little bit of a stipend and like free travel essentially. So
And then
Might do
hopefully
it.
get a sponsorship to help too. there.
yeah.
What about like coaching?
I've thought about it.
Yeah, because
That's where I'm at. I'm dead center right now in my.
Yeah, right in the middle. Well, you got a season to get through, and in the fall. I mean,
if you get into coaching, don't go to high school.
Oh, I will not.
Don't.
If anything, I will go GA and then go pitching coach at a college somewhere.
Yeah.
So, no, I will stay away from high school and travel ball.
Because you do have some experience around here with
Yeah.
it was Dirt Dogs?
Yeah, and then just private lessons on my own.
It's good stuff. I say go travel. I say go to Italy if you can go.
At least for a year or two,
Yeah,
you
give
know,
it a
because you're
shot.
still
Why not?
young, you know, but don't do it too long because you want to. I wish I wouldn't have played baseball as long as I did just because it's so hard to make it and start my career earlier. Because now I'm 36 and I probably wish when I was 28, I should have been where I'm at now.
See, I wish I would have.
The opposite.
I wish I would have tried to
Yeah.
do it, but then I got into coaching. So, but you can do both, right? Go
Yeah.
get a year in, some
Yeah.
more experience, a little bit of culture. I'm sure the food is outstanding,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and then you'll be a head coach someday.
Go get
No head coaching.
No?
No.
Too
Pitching
much.
coach only.
Yeah, that's the best.
I really like the private lessons because it's like you get the one-on-one, you get to see the kids develop, and it's like these kids are choosing to come see me versus when you're now coaching a bullpen on a team. It's like these kids are stuck with you. So like their attitudes might not necessarily be the same.
It's true.
Versus the kids that choose to come to me and they're excited each time, they're learning, they're developing, and I like that side of it.
And you can make good money doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
You know?
I know people have been doing it for
It's
20,
a
30
huge market
years.
here.
Yeah.
I mean, I had 35 kids a week at one point this summer, and I was
That's
like,
awesome.
holy crap, this is a full-time job.
No, but
It
that's
is.
awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely something to look into.
Not me. I'm done with lessons. I'm old, family. I can't do it anymore. I don't have the patience. You have to have patience with
Oh, yeah.
lessons.
Yeah.
Like, wait, you're not hitting this good yet? Like, no, I'm not like that. I swear. I'm just at the point in my career that I need to be at the college level. So
Yeah.
the change that I made in getting there, like, I need to be there. I need to be with the guys that want to move on.
Yeah.
Like, I need that. I can't work with guys that don't want it because I'm a grinder. I want it just
Yeah.
as bad as they do.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I feel like you're that way too, and I feel like the college level would be great for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, go play, live life, have
Yeah,
fun.
have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to end with this though. You did hit in high school. Okay.
Yes.
You have not had any at bats at Fresno State.
No.
What do we got to? Well, Fresno State's got a new coach.
It's not happening.
Not like we can't beg or.
Have you?
Man,
Even,
we should
when was
make
the last time you even swung?
Every Halloween practice, we do a home run derby.
And how do you do in that?
It's rough.
Is it?
Yeah, because there's usually a few years of, haven't swung a bat.
Yeah.
I would.
No, I loved hitting in high school. It was great because, I mean, the pitching also wasn't very advanced. So it was like, they're right there, like.
Serving it up.
Yeah. So it's like, and I like grinded on that in high school too with my dad. Just worked in the cage every day after practice because I don't like to be bad at stuff. So it's like, whatever it is, I don't want to be bad. I don't want to lose. But no, when I got to college, they're like, hey, you're not going to hit. And I'm like, okay. Like, realistically, the pitching aspect of this game takes so much energy and so much of the, like, other than the 4 or 5 bullpens a week, it's like, okay, the film stuff, the training, getting my arm even to be in that place to go pitch a few games in a weekend. It's like, I couldn't imagine having to go in after, say, a good inning and then go sit down on 3 pitches and be like, all right, now I got to have a good attitude and go back out there and try and pitch again. So it's like, I like focusing on my one area.
That makes it kind of even more ridiculous what Garcia does.
Oh, absolutely. She's insane.
Like, yeah. I want to.
No,
Since
I was
hitting
wrong.
a softball
I
is
was
so
wrong,
easy
too.
since I'm a baseball player, and I think everything's easy.
We saw how
Which it's
easy
not,
it was, though.
Which it's not. I understand it's not. What is your go-to? Are you a rise or you a drop? Or
Screwball.
Screwball?
Yeah. I'll go screwball and then we'll go scries and rise if you want to tunnel it.
A what
inside.
and a what? A scries?
Yeah, so screw will break
A
in
screw
like
riser?
I don't know what pitch like for baseball, but
It's like a left-handed slider for baseball, which you're righty, so it'll come into a righty.
yeah, bust into a righty, and then a scries is essentially worked on blending my rise and screwball, so it looks like a fat screwball hanging up, and it breaks up and in on their hands. And then rise ball is just vertical.
I'd get smoked. There's no way.
And then I'll go curve and change too, but I love the screwball. I'll throw it 95% of the time, and everybody in the stadium knows it's coming, but I love that pitch.
That's kind of, you don't get that a lot. A lot of people have drops or risers.
Yeah, I am not a drop ball pitcher.
That takes actually, after talking to Courtney, because she, her older sister is Amanda Scott, which is, one of the best pitchers to pitch at Fresno State. That was her pitch, was the drop. So that's what she teaches at Arkansas. A lot of those pitchers throw the drop ball.
I need some help on the rules.
Yeah.
What is it? A no pitch, illegal pitch?
Illegal pitch? Yeah.
And
so that can happen a few different ways. Either you crow hop, which is when your right foot, when you go to push off, you like lose the connection there. Your toe has to stay in the dirt. Before, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, you had to have both feet connected to the rubber. Now your back foot doesn't have to be, so I can start with my back foot as far back as I want to, as long as there's no backward progression before I start the pitch. If you don't start with your hands separated, it can be an illegal pitch. If you take too long, illegal pitch.
What's the time?
10 seconds.
Wait,
From
if you
when you
don't
get
start with your hands separated?
So you can't
Yeah,
start
so
your
you
hands
have
in
to
the glove.
Yep, you have to have them separated.
Oh, and then get the sign,
And then
go
come
to the
together.
glove.
Yep. And then
So
they just,
Is it 10 seconds from the catcher throwing it back to you once you catch the ball, or once the catcher gets it?
it's 20 seconds total. So it's
Okay.
10 seconds to get the ball back, and then 10 seconds once you're on the rubber to throw the pitch.
Okay.
Now, do you guys do where you have the armband too?
Yeah.
Which I hate. I feel like I like the old school. Like, just give me the sign. Like, I
It's a
don't.
hard guy to please over here.
I'm just old school when it comes to rules. But do you like having it?
I hated it at first, my freshman year, because I was always used to just relayed through the catcher, dropping the signs. I've actually learned to really like it, just because it gives me a second to be like, okay, breathe, check it, and then look at
But you
them,
and the
make sure we're
catcher
on the
got to
same
be on.
page.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
And that's the great thing is I have had two great catchers at Fresno State. So both Kelsey and Avery, we've had great connections and a great, partnership on the field. So that's made it 10 times easier.
I'm sure that's helpful always.
Heck yeah.
Baseball. Yeah.
And then with Coach Cox, she ever kind of just be you're on your own? Did she ever let you on?
No, she was always like, feel free to shake if you want something else, like, what you're seeing and whatnot. And so I wouldn't necessarily shake because I trusted her and my catchers 100%. So if Kelsey or Avery were catching and she gave a sign and they were like, nope, Kelsey would flash me her own sign and I'd just go with whatever she gave me. Cause she's seeing something obviously I didn't just see. So no, that was the fun part of it. I love the setting up hitters. That's the best part about it.
Little chess match.
Yeah, I love when
Yeah.
pitchers set you up as a hitter.
I know we're on HIT.OR.DIE, but
We actually have a some pitchers on HIT.OR.DIE for some reason.
I think we have more pitchers
yeah.
than hitters.
That's okay. Coach Stacey May Johnson gets hired. How's that been so far with her new staff and just 2022?
yeah, I think we're just working on everyone getting to know each other still because I think there was 12 of us that returned from last year, and then we've got transfers and freshmen and new staff. So we're all just working to build that kind of team camaraderie right now. But no, it's good. We're working hard as a team, and we start team practice next week, so we haven't truly gotten to all be out on the field together yet. So I haven't even seen half the other girls on the team because I throw my bullpen and I go home. So that's the exciting part about team practice is you get to see everybody, feel what it's going to be like, get that kind of vibe.
And go get another Mountain West championship.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Goals are high. I love it. We're going to have to get you back at some point.
During the year, yeah.
Or maybe just before the season starts. Don't want to bother you during the season.
It's very busy.
And
your schedule is
Yeah.
ridiculous because our schedule is ridiculous because this isn't just the only thing we do. I know people think that, that's all we do.
I don't know who thinks that.
I just think everybody thinks something, but we'll definitely get you back on.
Yeah, and I
absolutely.
appreciate you taking time to do this on a Friday.
was awesome.
Yeah.
And to be our first
Yeah,
I know.
live.
softball player.
Love it.
My wife was like, "She's coming to the house." And I go, "Yeah." She's all, "She doesn't think you guys are creepy?" I said, "I hope not."
This is our studio. We have two studios, your house and your office.
Yeah,
so.
my office.
Oh, God.
No, thank you for doing this. Good
Yeah,
luck in
absolutely.
2022,
Thank you.
and we will definitely be in touch again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Got it. That's episode 127. Hailey Dolcini, Fresno State, HIT.OR.DIE podcast.
HIT.OR.DIE.